Hey everybody, today what I want to talk about is why you should never go on a diet. And that is probably counter to everything that you've ever heard regarding nutrition. I'm just going to be bringing on Coach Katie. So if, there she is. She wants to be in my video. Let's bring her on. And we had some trouble getting her on, and look at that, we did it.
Yay.
Last time we had such a hard time. So,
oh, I know.
Yeah, for those of you that haven't met Coach Katie, Katie is a precision nutrition certified nutritionist. She has her own nutrition business, a busy mom of, count them off, six children. So if anybody knows anything about busy life and why you need to be energized and strategies to feed a lot of mouths, it is you, Katie.
That's right.
Yeah. And so I wanted to talk today about dieting. So I thought it would be a great topic to bring a nutritionist on to discuss why you should never go on a diet. What do you think?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got my thoughts and I've gone on about them, but tell me, what's your biggest beef with going on a diet?
Well, diets are not created to be a lifelong eating style. So they're only temporary. They do a lot of damage internally as well. Diets are meant to be short term. So you may lose some weight. Let's say you're on a 6-week diet or whatever it may be, and you may lose that weight, but then all of a sudden your body starts to adapt. You come to a plateau and you're no longer losing any weight and you don't understand why.
And typically what happens is because our body is such a wondrous machine, our body learns to get by on less calories. So the problem is if we revert to our regular eating again, because we've stopped the diet, then we actually start gaining weight on less calories. And so we don't even get to go back to what we were eating before. Let's say we were eating 1,500 calories before, then we go on a diet and then we go back to our 1,500 calories. Well, we're going to be gaining weight on what we were maintaining at before, right?
Yeah. It's really disheartening too, because while you're on the diet, you're not really learning how to how to have a healthy lifestyle.
Exactly.
What kind of foods are actually going to benefit you nutritionally, and not just to lose weight, but energy, brain focus, clarity,
Exactly.
functions of our organs. So it's not just about weight loss.
Exactly.
There's a lot of components that food does for our body.
Yeah, in fact, I just did a video this morning on lack of sleep, and there's such a connection between, we're talking to mostly women 40 plus, and lots of us are having sleep issues. But when we connect the dots between healthy eating, we can be reducing our hot flashes that are going to be reducing sleep disturbances. So it's like so much more than just weight loss. It's increasing and upgrading the quality of our life when we don't go on a diet and we just learn those healthy eating habits. I know that there's some other detrimental effects to dieting. Do you want to mention some of those? Some of the big things that can happen aside from discouragement and weight gain. Rebound weight gain. What other problems are associated with dieting?
Well, so a study's been revealed that going on a diet could even increase your risk of developing heart disease, diabetes, cancer. So it's found that those who control their calorie intake actually produce higher levels of a harmful hormone stress called cortisol. So an exposure to this actually made some dieters also put more weight on.
Yeah.
So it's taking you backwards instead of going to where you
want to go.
hoping to be. Yes.
And so, I mean, cortisol has its our body produces cortisol because we need it. It's in that flight or fight response. So if we are faced with a saber-toothed tiger, our body gets filled with, our central nervous system, gives us cortisol. So it's like, oh man, we can run from the saber-toothed tiger. That's the stress response. And that is, a survival mechanism. But I have not seen a saber-toothed tiger. Most of us don't have those life-threatening, instances. And so I know that study is referring to the fact that dieting causes stress. The stress response is cortisol. Cortisol tells our body to stop all digestion and functioning because we need to use all the energy to our muscles and other systems so that we can run from the saber-toothed tiger. We're not in that situation. So elevated stress responses, we stop digestion, we stop fat metabolism, we're storing all that energy for a later date, and it can put us into a system or a time where we're going to need that energy for later, and it can cause further disease. So dieting gives us that stress response. So again, nix on the diet, right?
That's right. That's
yes,
right.
Exactly. So now, what was I going to say? I know that some people do need a diet, so to speak, kind of to get us started. Is there any problem with that? What do you think about having just kind of like a general, because otherwise some people are just like no idea in terms of like, how can I get started? Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, I think, I have kind of an issue with the word diet, but I do know that having some kind of a plan, some kind of a nutritional guide, so to speak, something that is written out, but it's real food. It's not have this little sample frozen kind of meals with all kinds of artificial ingredients.
We can't even
cornstarch. I can barely read it, but cornstarch, modified food starch, anything modified you don't want to put into your body. So having some kind of a plan where it's real food, you're learning why you need to eat that food, and staying away from the processed, easy, pop it in the microwave and you're done. You're not learning why you need certain fats and carbohydrates and protein for your body. You're simply just, so there's a huge difference in a diet or kind of that jump start to help get you in the right direction, getting the education and learning, oh, so that's why I need nuts.
Exactly. Right.
If no one informs you, you're not really sure why you're eating what you're eating. Most people are just counting calories and wanting to lose weight. Exactly. And obsessing about the scale.
Right.
So it all kind of goes in a big circle of
weight gain at the end. That is often the destination of, oh, I might not be feeling great, but the weight, the scale is moving. I'm happy for now. And then, 2 weeks later, you've added that weight on and more. So it's just not sustainable. And the other thing is that when we just focus on like the packaged foods like you're talking about and the scale, we tend to not have we have this vision in our mind of what our body, we want it to look like, but we tend to just look like a skinnier version of our former fat self or a melted candle. It's like, wait a minute, this is not the beach body I wanted. However, when we focus on those healthy foods that balance our hormones, foods that we can pronounce, then, and not focusing on the scale as much, the scale might not move as much, but we look in the mirror and it's like, wait a minute, that's what I was looking for.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
That's huge.
And those are the sustainable results that we're looking for. So, so I just wanted to, have a nutritionist come on as well to say, hey, let's stop the dieting. Let's
Yeah.
start learning how to eat properly.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
Yes. And well, when you learn how to eat properly, instead of just going on a quick diet, get a quick fix, lose the weight, you're going to gain it back and feel miserable. You'll also get stressed out because you're counting calories. You're always eating things that are super low, processed food, artificial ingredients, but then those things can often trigger cravings.
oh,
And
yeah,
you're in this battle mentally with, I have to lose weight, but I really want to eat such and such. So then that can ultimately bring you into then binge eating and guilt and then added weight gain. So it's just a constant battle mentally.
yeah,
But once you learn how to eat, what foods are better for you, then it's empowering. You then, food is exciting and food tastes amazing. So like the lifestyle that we live, we have great food, you know?
yeah,
So oftentimes if you're misinformed, you're going to think that healthy eating is just boring and bland and
right. Yeah,
celery and carrots.
yeah,
But
yes, exactly.
it makes me think of kind of the Little Mermaid, like it's a whole new world, you know?
It's, how do you know you have
And
6 children?
yeah,
Right? Yeah, but it's
and,
true, right?
and it's a
Exactly.
good, so.
Yeah, and the thing is too is that it can be a bit difficult to get off of those processed foods and the sugars and whatnot. But once you do, you develop a palate for the natural foods. And
Yes.
when your nutrition is, when you're meeting your nutritional needs, you have less cravings, which is,
That's true.
really, and, it's sad, but the manufacturers of processed foods have entire departments where they are developing flavors that, when you eat one Dorito, that you need to eat the whole bag. Like they are creating these food flavorings so that that creates the because it's, at the end of the day, is it processed foods is all about making money. So I
Yep.
mean, I don't want to be like bashing anybody. Like I don't need to bash anyone. I just need to say, don't buy the processed foods. And
Yeah.
you won't be having the cravings. You won't be having, the problems associated with eating, poor, and you won't have, you won't have the weight gain or the yo-yo weight gain.
Yes.
Yeah. So now, working with you, Katie, how does one work with a nutritionist and not have a diet? Tell me how that works.
Well, we walk through what you're eating now. We talk about your goals and your plans, where your starting point is and where you're hoping to go. And it's just looking through what you're eating now.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes too, going from one area of life to this drastic change, that can also lead to failure. So making small steps is going to help keep that growth occurring, and then you'll be more successful in making small changes. Let's succeed at those small changes.
Take something
And keep
else
adding, keep adding.
Yeah, it's like,
and then just constant encouragement, from me, text, email, couple calls a month.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. It's the accountability and the fact that, working with a nutritionist one-on-one doesn't mean that, okay, I can never eat my favorite foods again. No, you're going to take, all right, what is the biggest lever that's going to give you the biggest results in the shortest amount of time that's the least painful? All right, let's implement that. All right, let's take the second one. All right, let's implement that. So it's not, I know a lot of people get, really scared about working with someone one-on-one because they think, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get Miss Vicky's, or I'll never have ice cream or wine again. But it's like, no, that's not it at all. It's just those small changes.
It
So,
is.
yeah, so if anybody is interested in working with Katie and I one-on-one, I'll have a link for like a Calendly link call. We'll get on the phone and discuss what that looks like. that is going to be the biggest opportunity for change in the shortest duration of time, because that is like a drinking from a fire hose in terms of education that's very personalized. So I'd really love to hear from people that would like to work with us one-on-one. The other opportunity is the Healthy Hormone Challenge is opening up, and I'll have a link for that. You'll see Katie and I in the Shauna 24/7 group giving lots more information about nutrition over there as well. Now, just to keep in mind that both opportunities, you're not going on a diet. Our goal is to never have you on a diet where it's read it and eat it. We're starting at this date, we're ending at this date, because good eating, healthy eating never ends, right, Katie?
That's right.
Exactly.
That's absolutely right. And it always does take time to create a habit.
Yeah.
I think 21 days is kind of the number. So being in an accountability group, you know, even if you can't do the one-on-one, having that group, someone to message you, a Facebook accountability group saying, hey, I did this today. What did you do? Oh, I found that was helpful. It's just spurring each other on to continue to keep going.
You never feel alone then.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so we'll have some opportunities, and we'll have you back coaching with us on Facebook Lives lot. So thank you for joining me this morning, Katie. I'm so thrilled that it was such an easy task this time. Last time it took us several tries. So
I know.
Anyway, thanks for making time in your busy day to share your expertise with the group, and we will see you again soon.
Okay, thanks, Shauna.
All right, bye-bye.